According to a U.S. official, Israel carried out a strike on Iran on Friday morning. The attack near a military base in the province of Isfahan was the latest salvo in a dangerous tit-for-tat between the two avowed enemies. The limited scope, though, appears to have cooled tensions instead of further escalating them. Meanwhile, the war in Gaza rages on. The health ministry there said Sunday that 48 people had been killed in the previous 24 hours. Joining me to discuss it all is the Deputy Prime Minister of Jordan and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ayman Safadi. Mr. Minister, pleasure to have you on. So let me first ask you whether you agree with the assessment that Iran versus Israel, the tensions are de-escalating, or do you still worry that things could spiral back out of control?
Good day to you, sir, and thank you for having me. But for now, the latest round seems to have been contained. Everybody has done a lot of work to make sure that this does not spiral off into major regional confrontation. That said, I think we all have to do a lot of work to make sure that we address the whole sort of ecosystem, all the causes of tension in the region, and particularly the focus should remain on Gaza, where you just said that the killing continues and the conflict doesn't seem to offer any horizon for ending. So that needs to be the focus, and that's where all of us need to be concentrating right now.
But do you believe that Israel is going to be content with allowing the status quo as it is? As you know, there are people in Israel who say they should settle scores with Hezbollah, that they need to deliver a blow up north. A lot of Israelis, almost 100,000, have left their homes in the north. Is there a danger that that dynamic starts up now?
Absolutely. I mean, the one to benefit most from the latest escalation with Iran was the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, because it did help divert attention away from Gaza and from the aggression that continues to rage on. The reality is that the tension remains high, and unless we're able to bring an end to the war in Gaza and create a political horizon that would take us towards a once and for all solution on the basis of the two-state solution, danger of escalation remains there by intention or by miscalculation. Israelis are saying a lot of things, I mean the Israeli government, but what they've been doing and saying gotten us other than more conflict, more tension, hatred, dehumanization, and a destruction of the whole Palestinian community in Gaza?
You point out that Bibi Netanyahu does benefit when the war goes in another direction. Do you believe that Bibi Netanyahu will try to keep this war going because it keeps him in office and keeps avoids certain political and maybe legal problems he has?
All indications point to that conclusion. He has said publicly that he's going to continue with the war on Gaza, despite advice even from his biggest supporter, which is the United States, voices from Europe, from the region. We're all saying, stop this war. Let's create a political path that will address the root cause of the issue, that will guarantee peace and security for Palestinians and Israelis. Unfortunately, the Israeli Prime Minister continues to, with the war in Gaza, endangering thus not just the Palestinians, endangering the whole region and hurting the long interest of Israel itself, because the war is going to have to end and the dust will settle. And once that happens, we're all going to have to grapple with the reality where we've lost 30 years of effort to normalize the idea of peace. So this is the challenge, and we cannot have Netanyahu doom the future of the region to more conflict, nor can we allow him to continue with this war that is again producing nothing but war, destruction, killing, and harming the interest of all, including the US, including Europe, including all of us of the region.
What are you hearing with regard to the Israeli attack on Rafah? Is it going to happen? Is Bibi listening to the Biden administration and many others who've cautioned him not to do it, or is he just going to do it anyway?
I mean, first of all, let me emphasize this attack should be prevented no matter what. It will produce nothing but a but a massacre, giving the concentration of the people and giving the already miserable reality that the war on Gaza has created. Unfortunately, again, all statements coming out from Israel is indicating that Netanyahu is going to go ahead with that war. He's not listened to the U.S. on even less significant issues pertaining to allowing more aid into Gaza and the siege of Gaza and the use of weapons as starving the Palestinians. So it looks like Netanyahu is sending all signals that he's going to attack Rafah. All of us should weigh down heavily on the Israeli government not to do that, because again, that will just drag us more into the mud, and this madness will manifest itself in even more dangerous ways than we have seen thus far.